While most people rely on heaters, insulated homes, and high-tech winter gear to stay warm, the Inuit have thrived in the harsh Arctic cold for generations without electricity, synthetic fabrics, or modern heating systems. Their survival is not just about enduring the cold, but mastering it through ingenuity, natural materials, and a deep understanding of their environment. From building homes out of snow to using body heat efficiently and wearing perfectly insulated clothing, the Inuit have developed remarkable techniques to stay warm in temperatures that would leave most people frozen. These aren't just survival tricks, they are time tested strategies that prove human adaptability at its finest. Here are 10 genius Inuit survival secrets to help anyone stay warm, even in extreme winter conditions. When winter arrives, most people turn up the heat, wrap themselves in thick blankets, and stay indoors, safe from the biting cold. But for the Inuit, who have lived in some of the coldest places on Earth for centuries, staying warm depends on something that might seem impossible: snow. While snow may feel icy and uncomfortable to most people, the Inuit have mastered the art of turning it into one of the most effective natural shelters ever created: the igloo. An igloo isn't just a simple pile of snow thrown together like a snow fort. It's a carefully built home designed to trap heat and block out the freezing Arctic winds. The secret lies in choosing the right kind of snow. Instead of using soft, fluffy snow that crumbles easily, the Inuit cut blocks of compacted snow, which are filled with tiny air pockets. These pockets work just like the stuffing inside a thick winter jacket or the insulation inside a house, holding in heat and keeping the cold out. Even though snow is made of frozen water, its structure makes it an excellent barrier against the bitter Arctic wind. Once people move inside the igloo, something amazing happens. Their body heat begins to warm the air, just like how a crowded room feels warmer when there are more people inside. This warmth causes the inner walls of the igloo to melt slightly. But instead of dripping away like a melting ice cube, this thin layer of moisture refreezes into a smooth, solid ice shell. This extra layer makes the igloo stronger and even better at keeping in heat, creating a cozy space where people can sleep, eat, and gather, even while the world outside is frozen solid. Because of this natural heating process, an igloo can be up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius warmer inside than the freezing air outside, and it does this without fire or electricity. The Inuit also designed igloos with a smart entrance tunnel that sits lower than the main living area. Since cold air sinks and warm air rises, the coldest air stays trapped in the entrance tunnel, while the warmer air stays inside where people sleep and gather. It's almost like a built-in heat shield, preventing warmth from escaping every time someone steps in or out. For the Inuit, the igloo is more than just a place to sleep. It is a survival tool. In an environment where temperatures can drop to levels that would freeze exposed skin in minutes, having a home that stays warm without modern insulation, electricity, or fuel is nothing short of genius. The igloo is a perfect example of how humans can work with nature rather than against it, using the very thing that makes the Arctic so extreme: snow, to not just survive, but thrive in one of the harshest places on Earth. When temperatures drop below freezing, most people grab the thickest coat they own, hoping that one heavy layer will be enough to keep the cold away. But the Inuit, who have lived in the Arctic for generations, know that one thick coat isn't enough. Instead of bundling up in bulky, stiff jackets, they have a smarter, warmer way to dress, by wearing two layers instead of one. This isn't just about adding extra fabric, it's a carefully designed system using caribou fur, one of the best natural insulators in the world. The secret of this design lies in the trapped air between the layers. The first parka is worn with the fur facing inward, allowing the soft, dense hairs to hold onto body heat like a warm hug. The second parka is worn over the first with the fur facing outward, acting like a shield against the biting Arctic wind. This setup creates a microclimate, or a tiny bubble of warmth between the layers, much like how a thermos keeps soup hot on a cold day. But the real magic is in the caribou fur itself. Unlike most animal fur, each strand of caribou hair is hollow, trapping air inside like a row of tiny straws. This adds another layer of insulation, keeping warmth from escaping. The system works so well that even thermal cameras have trouble detecting body heat through a traditional Inuit parka. That means even in bone-chilling temperatures as low as minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 51 Celsius, An Inuit hunter can stay warm without the need for thick, heavy clothing that makes movement difficult. This double-layered design is lightweight, flexible, and incredibly effective, allowing the Inuit to walk, run, and hunt without being weighed down by bulky coats. Long before modern synthetic materials like Gore-Tex existed, the Inuit had already mastered the art of layering for survival, proving that nature often provides the best solutions for extreme conditions. For most people, the idea of sleeping on snow sounds as ridiculous as using ice cubes for a pillow. Surely it would be freezing, damp, and uncomfortable. But for the Inuit, who have lived in the Arctic for generations, sleeping on snow is not only possible but surprisingly warm and cozy. Over time, they have developed a brilliant system for creating insulated sleeping platforms inside their igloos, allowing them to rest comfortably even in some of the coldest conditions on Earth. The first key to warmth is elevation. Instead of lying directly on the frozen ground, the Inuit carve raised sleeping platforms into the igloo walls. Since cold air sinks and warm air rises, this simple trick keeps their beds above the coldest part of the igloo, trapping heat where it's needed most. It's like sleeping in a bunk bed where the warmest spots are always on top. Next comes layering for insulation. Just like bundling up for a chilly day, the base of the bed starts with packed snow, which is firm enough to hold weight without melting. On top of that, the Inuit add branches or twigs, which create tiny air pockets that trap heat and stop the cold from creeping up from below. Finally, they place thick layers of seal and caribou hides over the platform, forming a warm, soft barrier between their bodies and the icy surface beneath. But the most amazing part? These beds get even more comfortable over time. As people sleep, their body heat slightly melts the top layer of snow, which then refreezes into a smooth, molded surface that is almost like nature's version of a memory foam mattress. This doesn't just make the bed sturdier, it also improves insulation, keeping the sleeping area even warmer. Thanks to this ingenious design, an Inuit igloo bed provides insulation comparable to modern house walls, rated at around R15. While most people rely on thick mattresses, electric blankets, and heated rooms to stay warm, the Inuit have perfected a simple, natural, and highly effective way to sleep comfortably, even in the middle of an Arctic winter. Their ability to turn snow and animal hides into a warm, restful space proves just how well they have adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. When the temperature outside is so cold that water freezes in seconds and your breath turns into tiny ice crystals in the air, staying warm isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. While most people today rely on electric blankets, heaters, and thick comforters to keep cozy, the Inuit have long used one of the simplest yet most powerful heat sources of all: physical contact with each other. Every human body gives off heat, much like a glowing 100-watt light bulb. One light bulb on its own doesn't make a room feel warm, but imagine a group of them shining together. That's how the Inuit stay warm. Instead of sleeping alone and letting their body heat drift away into the cold, they sleep close together, wrapped in thick layers of seal and caribou hides. Their shared warmth fills the igloo like a soft, invisible fire, keeping everyone much warmer than if they slept apart. But it's not just about huddling together, it's about where they sleep too. The Inuit arrange their sleeping spots carefully, making sure that elders and the most vulnerable family members get the warmest places. Since heat rises, the highest sleeping spots inside the igloo are the warmest, so the elders often rest there while younger and stronger individuals sleep slightly less. It's like stacking warm air inside the igloo, making sure no heat is wasted. Even beyond sleeping arrangements, daily activities help warm up the igloo. Cooking over a small fire, moving around, and even storytelling all add little bursts of warmth. Inuit storytelling isn't just talking, it's animated, filled with gestures, laughter, and movement, which not only keeps stories exciting, but also keeps everyone's blood flowing. The compact space of the igloo holds on to this warmth, turning what might seem like a frozen dome of snow into a surprisingly cozy home. Without electricity or modern heating, the Inuit have mastered the art of staying warm by using their bodies as natural heaters. Their way of life proves that sometimes the best warmth doesn't come from machines or technology, it comes from each other. When temperatures drop far below freezing, most people rely on thick, expensive winter jackets to stay warm. These modern coats are made with high-tech materials designed to trap heat and block out the cold. But long before fabrics like Gore-Tex and Thinsulate were invented, the Inuit had already discovered something even better: seal skin. For centuries, they have used this natural material to make warm, waterproof, and flexible clothing that allows them to survive the brutal Arctic cold. Sealskin is an incredible natural insulator that works better than most modern materials. One of its best features is that it is both waterproof and flexible. Many synthetic fabrics become stiff and brittle in extreme cold, making it hard to move. But sealskin stays soft and bendable, even when temperatures drop to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 40 degrees Celsius. This is important because the Inuit need to walk, run, and hunt without being slowed down by heavy or stiff clothing. What makes sealskin especially warm is the way it traps heat. Each square inch of sealskin has over 500,000 tiny hairs, which create small air pockets that hold warmth close to the body. At the same time, the material allows moisture to escape, preventing sweat from making the wearer cold. This natural insulation keeps people warm without overheating, making it perfect for long hours outdoors in the freezing Arctic. Scientists have even tested traditional Inuit clothing and found that sealskin is up to 300% more effective at keeping heat in than modern Arctic gear. While most people today rely on bulky jackets and layers to stay warm, the Inuit have used lightweight and expertly crafted sealskin garments for generations. Their deep knowledge of nature has allowed them to create some of the most effective winter clothing in history without using a single modern material. When traveling through deep snow and ice, keeping your feet warm and dry isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. For centuries, the Inuit have lived in some of the coldest places on Earth, where frozen ground and icy winds make ordinary shoes useless. To protect themselves from the harsh Arctic climate, they developed the perfect winter boots, mukluks. Long before modern insulated footwear existed, the Inuit had already created a design that outperforms most high-tech boots today. Mukluks are built using a three-layer system that makes them lightweight, flexible, and incredibly warm. The outer layer is made from waterproof sealskin, which keeps moisture out, preventing snow and slush from soaking through. The middle layer is crafted from caribou fur, which traps warm air inside, creating a natural insulation barrier. Finally, the inner layer is lined with soft fur, keeping feet cozy and protected even in the most extreme conditions. One of the most impressive features of mukluks is their loose-fitting design. Unlike modern winter boots that hug the foot tightly, mukluks are designed to leave extra space for air to circulate. This trapped air acts as an additional layer of insulation, adding up to 20 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius of extra warmth. Instead of relying on thick, heavy materials, the Inuit use this simple yet effective trick to keep their feet warm for long periods. Even in bone-chilling temperatures as low as minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 50 degrees Celsius, mukluks offer superior warmth compared to modern hiking or snow boots. Their lightweight feel makes it easier to walk, run, and hunt, unlike bulky winter boots that can slow movement. By combining natural materials with expert craftsmanship, the Inuit created one of the most effective cold weather boots ever designed, proving that nature often provides the best solutions for survival. In the Arctic, winter is not like winter in most places. The temperatures can drop so low that even breathing outside can hurt, and the sun disappears for months at a time, leaving the land in total darkness. In a world with no electricity, no firewood, and no modern heating, the Inuit needed a way to stay warm and see in the dark. Their solution was the quillik, a seal blubber lamp that worked as a heater, stove, and lantern all in one. Even though it looks simple, the quillik is a genius invention. It can produce up to 250 watts of heat, which is enough to raise the temperature inside an igloo by as much as 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. This might not sound like much, but in the Arctic, it could mean the difference between freezing and staying alive. Unlike a wood fire, which creates smoke and burns through fuel quickly, the quillik burns clean. It does not fill the igloo with soot or dangerous fumes, making it perfect for use indoors. The quillik does more than just provide warmth and light. It is also used for cooking and melting snow for drinking water. Since liquid water is hard to find in the frozen Arctic, the Inuit would place ice or snow near the heat of the quillik to turn it into drinking water. They also use the lamp's heat for drying mittens, warming up food, and keeping the inside of the igloo comfortable. Women were often responsible for tending to the quillik, carefully adjusting the wick, made from moss or Arctic cotton, to control the flame. The way they shaped and trimmed the wick determined how much heat and light the lamp would produce. This was a skill passed down through generations, making the quillik not just a tool, but a central part of Inuit culture and survival. Because seal blubber is packed with energy, a single quillik could burn for hours without needing more fuel. This made it one of the most efficient and reliable heating systems ever created, and it came directly from nature. For generations, the Inuit depended on this small but powerful lamp to survive the Arctic's harshest nights, proving that sometimes the smartest solutions don't come from technology, but from understanding and working with the environment. When the Arctic temperatures drop so low that breathing feels like inhaling ice, staying warm isn't just about wearing thick clothing. It's also about what you eat. The Inuit have always understood that food is fuel, and their traditional diet is designed to keep them warm from the inside out. While many modern diets avoid fatty foods, the Inuit depend on them, eating large amounts of seal, whale blubber, and fish to survive the extreme cold. This might sound unusual, but there's real science behind why it works. Fat is one of the most energy-rich nutrients, meaning it provides a lot of fuel for the body. When the Inuit eat fat, their bodies go through a process called diet-induced thermogenesis, which means their metabolism works harder and burns fat to generate heat. This internal heating system helps them stay warm even in sub-zero temperatures, providing long-lasting energy without needing frequent meals. Unlike most people who burn carbohydrates for quick bursts of energy, the Inuit rely on fat, which keeps their bodies warm for hours. But the benefits of their high-fat diet go beyond just warmth. The Arctic air is incredibly dry, which can cause cracked skin, chapped lips, and even frostbite. However, the natural oils in whale blubber and seal fat help protect their skin, acting like a built-in moisturizer that keeps them from drying out. By eating these fatty foods, the Inuit stay hydrated from the inside, forming an internal defense against the harsh Arctic climate. Despite eating large amounts of fat, the Inuit historically suffered from very few cold-related illnesses or heart problems. Their diet, combined with their physically active lifestyle, has allowed them to thrive in one of the coldest and harshest places on Earth. While modern nutrition often warns against eating too much fat, the Inuit prove that in the right environment, fat isn't just food, it's survival fuel. When the cold sets in, most people bundle up under blankets, sit still, and wait for warmth to come to them. But the Inuit understand something that many people don't. Sitting still actually makes you colder. Instead of staying motionless, they generate their heat by constantly moving, using their bodies as natural heaters. Even simple movements can make a big difference. Something as small as swinging the arms, lifting the legs, or twisting the torso can raise body temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit in just a few minutes. These activities increase blood flow, helping the body distribute warmth more effectively. Unlike modern lifestyles where people often sit for long periods in front of screens or fires, the Inuit remain physically active throughout the day, whether they are hunting, building, preparing food, or maintaining their homes. Even their storytelling traditions help them stay warm. Inuit stories aren't told by simply sitting still and speaking. Instead, they are full of movement, with hand gestures, dramatic facial expressions, and even full body motions. This keeps both the storyteller and the listeners engaged, while also generating body heat. In this way, even sharing stories becomes a survival strategy in freezing temperatures. Science backs up what the Inuit have always known. Studies show that active people maintain their core temperature up to 25% better than those who remain still. By staying in motion, whether through daily chores, storytelling, or simple exercises, the Inuit have mastered a natural and effective way to stay warm, without needing extra layers or artificial heat. Staying warm in the Arctic isn't just about trapping heat, it's also about controlling moisture. The Inuit have long understood that an igloo must do more than keep out the cold. It also has to breathe. Without proper ventilation, warm air from breathing, cooking, and body heat would turn into moisture, which would then freeze on the walls. Over time, the inside of the igloo could become covered in ice, making it damp, slippery, and dangerously cold. To prevent this, the Inuit use smart ventilation techniques to keep their shelters dry and comfortable. One of the simplest but most effective methods is creating small vent holes at the top of the igloo. These tiny openings allow extra moisture to escape, stopping condensation from forming and freezing. Without these vents, warm breath would freeze against the walls, eventually blocking airflow and making the igloo colder instead of warmer. The Inuit also apply this idea to their clothing. Unlike modern plastic-based waterproof gear, which traps sweat and moisture inside, Inuit clothing that is made from sealskin and caribou fur is naturally breathable. This means moisture can evaporate instead of sticking to the skin, preventing the cold shock effect that happens when trapped, sweat suddenly freezes. By keeping their bodies dry, the Inuit stay warmer for longer. By balancing warmth and ventilation, the Inuit make sure that both their homes and clothing work with nature, not against it. Their ability to stay warm while managing moisture is one of the key reasons they have survived and even thrived in some of the harshest climates on Earth. The Inuit have mastered the art of survival in extreme cold, thriving in the Arctic for generations without modern technology. Instead of relying on heaters, thick synthetic jackets, or insulated boots, they use nature's resources to stay warm. Their survival depends on natural insulation, smart layering, body heat, movement, and a diet rich in fat, all working together to protect them from temperatures that would be unbearable for most people. From the way they build their igloos to the way they design their clothing and choose their food, every part of their lifestyle is carefully adapted to the freezing environment. Their homes trap heat, their clothes insulate without trapping moisture, and their high-fat diet fuels their bodies like a built-in heater. These are not just survival tricks. They are time-tested strategies that have kept the Inuit warm for centuries. So the next time you find yourself shivering under a blanket in a heated home, remember that some of the best ways to stay warm have been around for thousands of years. The Inuit proved that nature already provides the answers to surviving the cold. Would you be willing to try any of these ancient winter survival hacks? If you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one more.